So we already learned about the Spring Framework, and in this video we are going to learn about the AOP with Spring Framework. So first of all, let's understand what is AOP. AOP stands for Aspect Oriented Programming. Now okay, that's the definition, but what exactly it is, right? Aspect Oriented Programming is just a methodology with which we will create the applications. Just like OOP, right? Object Oriented Programming, we create the application. Similar to that, there is an aspect-oriented programming with which we will create our application. Why AOP and what are the benefits? Let's first understand that. So AOP gives us the flexibility to remove the cross-cutting concerns from our application and to separate it out from the main business logic. That's a lot of jargons, right? So let's understand what are cross-cutting concerns and why we need to separate it out. So when we are creating the application, we tend to do a lot of things, right? So suppose let's take the example of a shopping cart, right? So in the shopping cart, what we do is we add the items to the shopping cart which we want to buy, and from that shopping cart, if we want to remove the items, we can remove the items, and after that particular shopping cart, we will check out that shopping cart and we will try to order those items which are there in the shopping cart. We will do the payment for that and we will add the shipping address and payment details and everything. So all these things will happen, and to do all these things, what we generally do is we try to add a lot of different logics to it, right? There will be a lot of business logics also, and there will be a lot of different extra things that we are going to do. Suppose we are going to do the logging for each and every request that is going for the shopping cart. Whatever the actions are performed by the user for that particular request, we are going to log all those data in the loggers so that we can understand when there is an issue what happened to that particular request. So that thing we will do, try to add the loggers. The other thing we will be possibly doing is to handle the authentication and authorization. We will try to see that particular request is authorized and authenticated properly. Whatever the features the user is trying to use, that particular user has all those rights to use that feature or not. So this type of logic also will be going to implement. Then there might be logics to convert the input data, whatever we are getting input data, to sanitize those data, right? So whatever the JSON format or whatever the JSON input that we would be getting it from the request, we would sanitize those data. So these are all the things that we would do every time when we get a request. Either it would be in the payment page, either it would be in the shopping cart, either when adding the data to the shopping cart, while going to the home page, anywhere. This type of things that generally we do. And this is completely different from the business logic that we have, because for each and every operation that we do, business logic will be different. But these are the things that we would generally do. So these are known as cross-cutting concerns. So what aspect-oriented programming tells us that just try to remove those cross-cutting concerns from the main business logic and keep those things as a different place and run it separately. So that means your business logic is completely different and your cross-cutting concerns like logging, authenticating, authorization, you're sanitizing the data and everything are at the different places. So that's what we are going to do, right? To separate out the cross-cutting concerns in this video. So we will be taking one example where we will see what are the different ways that we can do, what are the different methods available, what are the different ways that we can implement it. We would be using the Aspect.js library to implement this AOP with Spring Framework. So let's open IntelliJ IDEA and let's see the demo for it. And before that, if you're enjoying this video, then give us a like on this video and subscribe to this channel for awesome new videos. If you want, you can also join this channel by clicking on the join button below and support me. Now let's go to the IntelliJ IDEA. So let me just open the IntelliJ IDEA. And here I'll create the sample Maven project. So let me just create a new project over here. And here I'll just select the Maven. Project SDK is Java 11. I'll click on next. And the name of the project I'll give as, let me just give Spring AOP demo. And in the artifact, let me give com.dailycodebuffer. So this is what you give to make your group ID as unique. And the artifact ID I'll give as the Spring AOP demo. And the version I'll just keep it the same, 1.0-snapshot. And let's just click on finish to generate the project. So here in this pom.xml file, we have to add the dependencies for the Aspect.js and the dependencies for the Spring context, because we will be using the Aspect.js library and the Spring framework to implement this demo. So let's do that. What we have to do, we just need to add the dependencies tag. Inside dependency, we need to add the dependency. So we will add the dependency. Here I need to add the Spring context from the org.spring framework, and the version I'll add as 5.3.14. So this is the one dependency that I've added. Let's add the other. And if you don't know how to add this particular dependencies tag, don't worry, I'll show you one way as well. You can directly go to the Maven repository and you can search from there and you can add. Okay, so just go to the browser. Okay, and here search for Maven repository. And here you can search everything. Suppose Spring Context. So here you will get that this is a Spring Context, and you can go here, you can go to the version and you can just copy this details and you can paste in the pom.xml file. Similarly, I just need the Aspect-J as well. Okay, Aspect-J runtime. So I'll just go here and I'll just take the stable version. Okay, so this is the stable version and I'll just copy this and I'll add in the dependency. Okay, and let me go back and I just need the Aspect-J viewer as well. So let me go here, go to the 1.9.7, the same version, copy it and add. Okay, just save it and refresh your Maven project, and all these dependencies will be added in your project. So the process is completed now. Now let's go to the src folder, main java, and here we can create the package. So let me just create a package that says demo. Okay, so let me create the main class over here. I'll just create the Java class and says main, and inside this I'll just create the main method. This is simple thing. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create one shopping cart class. So let me just create a shopping cart class. And this has a method public void checkout, and I'm just printing out one thing. Okay, checkout method from shopping cart called. I know spellings are wrong, let me just correct it. Okay, so consider that this is a checkout method and it's doing the checkout for your items in the cart. But for simplicity, I have just written one print statement over here which is printing that checkout method for shopping cart is called, considering this is a logic. Okay, now in the Spring we need to create the bean for this shopping cart, so we need to make this as a component, right? And to get this all the components, either we can go with the XML based configuration or we can go with the annotation based configuration. So what we'll do, we'll go with the annotation based configuration with the bean config file. So let me just create a configuration file. I'll create Java class and say bean config, and this one bean config, I'll say this is a configuration. Okay, with the configuration annotation. And what I'll do, I'll just enable the component scan, and I'll say base package is equals to demo. So this is my demo as a base package. So whatever the components that I'm going to create, it will scan all those components. It will scan all the components in this base package available. Okay, now if I go to the main, and I can get that from the application context. So I can say application context equals to new annotation config application context. Here I can give bean config.class. Simple, right? This is the same thing that we did in the Spring framework video. We got the context, and from this particular context we can get the beans. So suppose I want the shopping cart bean, right? So I'll just say shopping cart equals to context dot get bean. Here I'll say I need the bean of type shopping cart dot class, and I can say cart dot checkout. Simple stuff. Let's run this, and it's working fine, right? Checkout method for shopping cart is called. Now if you go here in the shopping cart, generally what you do when you have a lot of logics available, right? You can do logging, right? You will do logging like you have entered into this particular method and you have exited this method. You will do authentication and authorization. You can do sanitization, sanitize the data, right? So these are the general stuffs that we will be doing every time, right? But this is your business logic. So what AOP, as we defined in the earlier, right, is to separate out the cross-cutting concerns. So these are the cross-cutting concerns that we need to separate it out. Now, all the cross-cutting concerns that we want to separate it out, that's called an aspect. So this is the aspect, this is the aspect, this is the aspect logging. Okay. So for all these different cross-cutting concerns, we can create the different aspects. So let's take an example for logging. Let's create the aspect. So in the demo, let me create a class that says logging aspect. Okay. And whatever the aspect that you have created, that you need to annotate with aspect. Okay. So we annotated with this particular aspect. Now here you can create the different methods that can be executed. Now if you create a method, right, suppose public void logger, suppose you want to add the loggers and you just added loggers here, right, whatever. Now how the system will get to know, okay, this is the logging aspect and this is something that we have to learn, and from where we have to learn. So this is something that we have to add. So we need to define the point cuts. So this is a point cut, if we can say, okay, like what we have to run, like this is something that we have to run, but we have to define where we have to run. So for that we will be creating the point cuts and at what location we have to run. So wherever the point cuts you're calling, right, like suppose if you go to the shopping cart and at this point you want to call that particular point cut, that particular method, so this is known as a join point. So it's simple to understand. Okay, just don't get confused with the lot of different jargons like what is point cut, join point, aspect and everything. Simple thing we need to understand is what is something that we want to call and where we want to call. That's it. We just need to define these two things, and that's what we are going to learn in a simple way. So suppose consider this is a method that we have to call at every method before the execution starts. Simple thing, right? So whenever there is any method available, right, suppose let's consider a simple thing for this particular checkout method. Whenever this checkout method is getting executed, I want to call this logger. Simple, right? So what I can do is I can define the annotation, that is the before annotation. Okay, and in this particular before annotation I can define before calling this method I want to call this method. Simple. So what you're doing is you are just removing whatever code that you might have written from the log for the logging from here to a different altogether aspect. So here I can define the execution. Okay, so in this execution you can define which particular methods that you want to invoke. Okay, so I can say I just want to invoke the method from demo package dot shopping cart dot checkout method, whatever the return type may be. Simple thing, I will just define like for any return type, whatever the return type, currently it is void, so that's fine. So that's why I have written mention star, and in the demo package shopping cart type, that is the class, in that there is a checkout method. For this particular checkout method I want to call this logger where before calling this method. Okay, now if you could try to run this, still it won't work, because if we can check, it won't work, right? You can see that it didn't work because we need to enable it. So if you go to the configuration bin config, and here we need to enable aspect-j auto proxy. So once we define this, and if you go back and run this again, still it didn't work. Because how Spring will know that there is something called aspect? Because Spring just understands what components, right? So let me go to the logging aspect, make sure that this is a component, so it's in the Spring's radar. Okay, because we have defined that whatever is inside the demo package we need it, right? So let's go back to the main class and let's run this again, and now we should get it. You can see that the loggers was called first and then the actual method was called. Okay, so that means you just removed the loggers from the main method, only kept the business logic, and you just remove the loggers to the new aspect that you created, that is the logger aspect. Now there are different point cuts that we can call, right? Suppose currently we called for before, we can call for after, we can call after returning a value, we can call after throwing a value, okay? And we can also call around the method. So these are the 5 things that you can call a method for. So let me go to the logging aspect again, and let's create for after as well. Okay, I'll just tell this as a before logger, and let's create one more public void after logger, and I'll just say s out after logger, and I'll just say before logger just to separate it out, and I'll annotate this with after, okay, because I want to call it after, and I want to call around the method. So I'll just define in the execution, and here I'll just define that star for any return type, star for any package, dot star for any class, dot checkout method. Let's run this. Let's go to the main and let's run this, and you can see that it worked because we have defined in the logging aspect this way that for any return type, for any package, for any class, if there is a checkout method, then we need to run this particular method. Okay, now what if I just add any of the input parameters? Suppose I'll just add the input parameter string status. Okay, and now if we try to run this, okay, there is an error, so we need to go to the main class, and here I can say status is cancelled, suppose. Okay, and if I run this again, and here you can see that only checkout method for shopping cart was called, so the aspect was not called. So to make sure that the aspect matches the input parameter as well, we need to go to the logging aspect, and here in this particular parenthesis we just need to define 2 dots, so it will just make sure that whatever the number of parameters are there, it will match. Okay, and if I go ahead and run this again, it should work. You can see that it is working completely fine. So we just saw that how to define a particular point cut over here, and what are the patterns that we can give for the point cut to match the join point. Now let's define one more aspect, because we need to separate out the authentication and authorization as well, right? So let me just create one more Java class that says authentication aspect. Okay, and as we did in the logging aspect, we need to annotate with aspect, and we need to annotate with component as well. Now here what we can do is we can create a point cuts, and that point cuts also we can define in the methods to be called. So suppose if you have multiple point cuts, right? So suppose we have multiple different packages available, and for all the different packages we want to do the authentication and authorization. So we can define the different types of point cuts, like this is the point cut for this particular package, this point cut for this particular package, for different packages, and you can call the aspect for all the different types of point cuts. So let's try to do that. I'll create one more method, public void. I'll just say authenticating point cut. Okay, and I'll just say public void authorization point cut. Okay, you can see that I just created 2 point cuts. So rather than directly defining where to call, let me just mark this as a point cut. So I can mark with @point cut annotation. Now here if you see the logging aspect, you can see we use the execution over here. So this execution defines for which particular method that you want to execute. And here in the authenticating aspect, we will define with within. So this will define for which particular type of class that we want to execute for all the methods available. So I just want like whatever the methods available for the shopping cart, I want to execute the authentication. So I can just define for all the demo dot star. simple thing. And for all the types within this particular demo package, I want to execute this authentication point cut. And similarly, this also I want to define within means for your class, your type. Okay, and within the demo package, if you want, you can select the shopping cart. Okay, dot star for any methods. This we can do, and we can give directly dot to make sure that for any of the class. Okay, let's keep it this way also. So we have one more example for this as well. Now these are the 2 point cuts that we created. Now we need to call these point cuts as well. So what I'll do, I'll just say public void authenticate, and I'll just say SOP sout authenticating the request. Spelling is wrong, let me just correct it. Okay, so I'm just trying to authenticate the request. Now I need to check where, so I just want to do before. Okay, I want to do before a method is called. When, so here I just want to define like when I want to do the authentication. I want to do authentication before the point cuts that I have mentioned, because first thing I want to do when any request comes is to authenticate that request. So here I'll define that I just need to do authenticate. So whatever the point cut I have defined, right, it will come here at the authentication point cut, authenticating point cut. But I also want at the time of authorizing point cut, so I can define with end operator and authorization point cut. Okay, so I'm just telling for these two, authenticating point cut and authorizing point cut, I want to call this method. If you want, you can also go ahead with or as well. Okay, and you can go with end as well. So either of the whatever the requirements, we can call these particular point cuts this way as well. So let's go ahead and run this. If you go to the main, if you run the method again, and it didn't work. So let me just change to all the type over here and let's run this again. It should work now. And here you can see that it is working, authenticating the request. Okay, so this way we can define for the type as well. And if we have this available in the different packages also, then we can go ahead and add the different packages, and we can mix and match the packages with AND condition or conditions. Now these are just the simple things that we did, like how to call the aspects. Now there will be scenarios where we need to get the data as well. So whatever is happening within the shopping method, we might need those details as well. Suppose we need to have the input arguments, we need to have the return variables and everything. So let's try to understand that as well. Suppose for this particular logging aspect, if we can see for the checkout method, we have defined that we might also get the input variable or we might not get as well. And here we have defined that there is an input variable. Now let's see what are the different ways that we can get. And if you want anything to access within this, then we can define the join point over here, join point object. Okay, and from this join point object, you can see we can get many things. What is the kind, what is the signature, source location, static part, what are the two long strings, short strings, arguments, target, this lot of things that we can get for the point cut, whatever we have defined. So let's try to get the signature. Okay, and let me just add this in the sysout. What is the signature of the method that has been called? And if you go ahead and run this, and you can see that the signature is void demo shopping cart dot checkout and the input parameter is string. Okay, so you can see this way we can get the details. Now let's try to get the details of the arguments. So the argument we have passed is type string, and let's try to check what is the value. Suppose if we want the value, right, to log anything, so we can do that way. So in the logging here, what I'll do, let me just comment this out, and I can take gp dot get arguments. Okay, so it will return the array of arguments. So we might have multiple arguments, right? So it will return the array, and from that array I just need the first argument because I have only passed one argument, and that argument is type string. So I just want to convert it to toString. So this is my argument that I'm getting. And if I get in the string argument over here before loggers with argument, okay, I'm just printing that argument. So let's run this. So we should get that argument as well. And you can see that the argument that we had passed was cancelled, and we are getting the cancelled here, that before logger with argument cancelled. So this way you can see that we just define that whatever the input parameters are there, we can access those input parameters at the join points and we can do any operation. So we just logged it like whatever we had to do to log. Now we can also access the return type as well. What is the return type? So let me change a method. Let me add a method. Okay, public int quantity, simple quantity. I've just created a simple method which defines the quantity and it's returning value 2. So whatever has been written over here, if we want to access that, we can access using the after returning annotation. So let's go to the logging aspect. Let's create one more method, public void after returning, and I can just sys out after returning. Okay, now for this we need to define a point cut, right? So what I'll do, I'll just define public void after returning, hope the spelling is correct, after returning point cut, and I'll just mention this is a point cut. And point cut is execution, and execution is for any return type from demo dot shopping cart dot quantity method, and I'll just keep double dot. So if we change the input variables also in the future, this will work. So this is a point cut where we have to execute and we want to get the input variable as well. So the input variable, suppose I can say it's a type of string, right? And I can say it's a return value. Now how I will get the values over here? So here I need to define after returning, and here at which point cut I need to call this. So I can define point cut equals to, the point cut name is after returning point cut. This is what we created, right? So I'll just mention this over here, after returning point cut. This place I want to call this. Now I need to define the return value as well. So what is the return value? Returning. And what it is returning to? It is returning to the input variable that I have defined over here. So it will return the value to this variable, and we can access that variable over here. Hope this is clear. We just created the point cut over here. That point cut defines that this point cut has to be executed where? At the quantity method of the shopping cart, and this is the execution that I want for that. So I just define that after returning whatever has been returned from here, after returning 2, this has to be called. So I just define this after returning point cut, this will be called. And what will be the return value? That returning value should be coming to this retval variable that has been passed into the input variable. And here if I say after returning plus return value, so I should get 2 over here. Simple, right? So similarly we can also define for the after throwing as well, where if there is any exception we can get the exception and we can work for that particular exception in this aspect. So this was just a quick intro about the Aspect-J and how we can use it with the Spring framework. And there are a lot of different things that we can do, like for all the different types of packages and for all the different types of methods that we can define, and how those will be executed we can define using the point cuts. So this is all the basics and foundation of the Aspect-J. If you want to learn more, I will just link the documentation for it. In one page everything is defined there and it's very easy to understand. After this video you will be able to understand that very easily. And if you have missed the earlier video about the Spring framework and if you want to learn, you can check out this video. And if you want to learn about the Spring Boot and Spring Data API, you can check the videos over here as well.